Book 3 Chapter 7. Chapter 7 on Creation. Brahma said, Narada, thus we three, I, Vishnu, and Mahadev, saw that highly effulgent goddess. We also saw separately her attendant goddesses, one after another, that form, as it were, a veil to her, who were also preeminently grand. Vyasa said, O king, Narada, the foremost of the Munis, hearing thus his father's words, was exceedingly pleased and asked, O grandsire of all the lokas, now describe in detail that ancient, indestructible, undecaying, unchangeable, eternal Purusha, that is Nirguna, free from Prakriti qualities, that you have seen and realized. Father, you have seen the Shakti, the prime energy, personified, the Saguna energy, the supreme goddess, having hands and feet. But I cannot understand of what kind is that Nirgun Shakti which cannot be seen, and which is devoid of all Prakriti qualities. O lotus-born, be good enough to describe to me the real nature of that Prakriti and Purusha and thus satisfy me. O Lord of creation, I practiced severe austerities in Svetadvipa, White Island, so that I might realize and see the Nirgun highest self and the Nirgun Shakti, the supreme goddess. I saw there many other Mahatmas, high-class spiritual persons, who attained siddhis, supernatural powers, practiced tapasya with their passions and anger conquered. But I did not realize nor did I see anything about that Nirgun highest self. Father, I was not despaired. Again and again I continued with my ascetic practices, but still I failed. Father, you have been so successful as to see that beautiful Shakti with qualities. I have heard about her from you. But how and of what sort is that invisible, attributeless energy, as well as that Nirgun Purusha? Please narrate and explain all these and satisfy my desires that always reign in my breast. Vyasa said, O king, thus asked by Narada, the lord of creation, the grandsire of the lokas, smiled, and began to speak the truth in the following words. Brahma said, O best of Munis, the form of the Nirgun Purusha, the supreme spirit beyond the Prakriti qualities, cannot exist or be visible, for everything that comes within the range of sight is transitory. How can, then, that eternal spirit have form, and how can he become visible? O Narada, the Nirgun energy or Nirgun Purusha comes not easily within the range of knowledge, but both of them can be realized by the Munis in their meditation, in their consciousness. Prakriti and Purusha have no beginning nor end. They can be realized only through faith. Those that have no faith can never realize them. Narada, the universal consciousness that is felt in all the beings, know that as the highest self, the energy that is universal and is seen always in all the beings, know that as the highest self. O blessed one, that Purusha and Prakriti pervade everywhere and exist in all the things. In this universe, nothing can exist without the presence of both of them. Both of them are the highest intelligent self, Nirgun, free from all material qualities, without any tinge of impurity and undecaying. The one form that is a combination of these two is always to be meditated upon in the heart. What is Shakti, energy, is the highest self. What is the highest self is the highest Shakti. O Narada, nobody can ascertain the subtle difference between these two. O Narada, merely the study of all the Shastras and the Vedas with their agamas without renunciation does not enable one to ascertain the difference between these two. O child, this whole universe, moving and non-moving, comes out of ahamkara, egoism. How can one ascertain the above difference even if he tries for 100 kalpas, unless one frees oneself from ahamkara? The jivas are a saguna, with qualities. How can the saguna see the Nirgun one with their physical eyes? Therefore, O intelligent one, try to see the saguna, Brahma, only within your heart, until you free yourself from the material qualities, and thus be fit to realize the Nirgun Brahma. O best of Munis, if the tongue, organ of taste, and eyes, organ of sight, be affected with over-biliousness, the pungent taste and the yellow color do not appear what it appeared before, so the hearts of jivas, overpowered with material qualities, are quite unfit for realization of the Nirgun Brahman. O Narada, that heart again has come out of ahamkara. How can then that heart be free from ahamkara? Until one becomes able to cut asunder all connections with qualities, the seeing of that Nirgun Brahma is impossible. No sooner one is totally free from ahamkara than the Nirgun Brahma is at once seen by him within his heart. Narada said, O best of the Devas, ahamkara is threefold, Sattvik, Rajasik, and Tamasik. Describe in detail the differences between these three subdivisions, as well as the real nature of the gunas. Also describe to me about that knowledge, knowing which will lead to my salvation. Also describe, in detail, the characteristics of the several gunas, in due order. Brahma said, O sinless one, the energy of Ahamkara is of three kinds, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, and Artha or Dravya Shakti. The power by which knowledge is produced or obtained is the Sattvik Ahamkara. The power by which action or activity or motion is produced is the Rajasik Ahamkara. And that by which the material things or objects of five senses are generated is called the Tamasik Ahamkara. O Narada, thus I describe to you, in due order, the threefold Ahamakaras. Now I describe to you their merits and working in detail. Here, out of the Dravya Shakti of the Tamasik Ahamkara come sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. From these five qualities, the five tanmatras or the five subtle elements, primary atoms, are produced. Sound is the quality of Akasha, ether. Touch is the quality of Vayu, air. Form is the quality of Agni, fire. Taste is the quality of Jala, water. And smell is the quality of earth. O Narada, these 10 gross and subtle materials can, when combined, become endowed with power to work out results in the shape of earth, water, fire, etc. And when the Panchikarana process is combined, the building of the whole cosmos takes place as a natural consequence of the Tamas Ahamkara, endowed with the energy of generating material substances. Now hear what are produced by the Rajasik energy. The five organs of hearing, touch, taste, sight, and smell, ears, skin, tongue, eyes, and nose, called the five Jnanendriyas, organs of senses, mouth, hands, feet, anus, and the organs of generation called the five Karmendriyas, organs of action, and prana, apna, vyana, samana, and udana, the five Vayus. The creation out of these 15 substances is called the Rajasik energy. Narada, all these organs of senses and actions, endowed with the Kriya Shakti, are called the Karnas, and the materials fashioned out of them are called the Chidniyu Vritti or Maya. O Narada, from the Sattvik Ahamkara are produced the five presiding rulers of the five internal organs named Dhichk, quarters, Vayu, Sun, Varuna, and the twins Ashwini Kumaras, and the four presiding rulers of the fourfold division of Antakarna, Buddhi, Manas, Ahamkara, and Chitta, named Moon, Brahma, Rudra, and Kshetragna. Thus, the above five organs of senses, the five organs of action, the five Vayus, and mind, these 16 substances are reckoned as the Sattvik creation. O child, the highest self has two forms, one gross and the other subtle. The formless self, the consciousness incarnate, as it were, is the first form. The seers consider this formless self to be the primary cause, the ultimatum, of all this phenomenal cosmos. This is only for the best qualified Jnanis, not for others. The second form is the gross form for the meditation of the second-class qualified persons. Thus the sages say, this second form of the Supreme Goddess is conditioned by inherent Maya, time, space, and causation. This is also divided into gross and subtle, according as it is the outer or inner body of the second form, and the form suited for the meditation of the third class and the second-class devotees. My body is called Sutratma. I will now tell you the gross body of Brahman, the highest self. O Narada, this my body and soul, having the nature of a string or thread, is called Hiranyagarbh. This is also the gross body of the Paramatman. Therefore, the Paramatman together with the Sutratma should also be worshipped. O Narada, I will now describe to you the outer gross body of Brahman, the highest self. Hear it attentively. If one hears it with faith and devotion, one is sure to get salvation. I have mentioned to you before the five subtle elements, called the five tanmatras. These now, when the Panchikarana process is done, are converted into the five gross elements. Now hear what the Panchikarana process means. Suppose you are to create the gross element of water. Divide into two equal parts the subtle element of water. Divide also the other four elements into two equal parts respectively. Now set apart the first half of each of the five elements. Divide the second half of each of the elements into four equal parts. Mix the first half of each of the elements with each of the fourth parts of the other four elements, and you get one gross element. Similarly, you get the other four gross elements. For example, you want to get the gross element of water with a half of the subtle element of water, mix the fourth part of the halves of the other elements of ether, fire, air, and earth. You get the gross element of water, and so on. The Panchikarana process is clearly illustrated in the following table. When the 5 gross elements are thus produced, consciousness then enters into these elements as their presiding deities. Next comes the feeling of egoism, I-ness, identifying itself with the body thus created out of the 5 elements. I am this body, and so forth. This great I, the great consciousness, creating and considering the cosmos as its body, is called the Bhagwan, Adideva, Narayana, or Vaisvanara. When, by the Panchikarana process, the 5 gross elements, earth, ether, air, etc., are solidified and get their clear definite forms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 qualities are seen to exist in ether, air, fire, water, and earth respectively. Thus ether has one quality only, that is sound. The air has got 2 qualities, sound and touch. The fire possesses 3 qualities, sound, touch, and form. The water has got 4 qualities, sound, touch, form, and taste. The earth has got 5 qualities, sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. And by the various combinations of these 5 gross elements is produced this grand cosmos, the great body of Brahman. Similarly, the sum total of jivas is produced from several parts of the whole Brahmanda. These jivas are 84 lakhs, so the sages say. Thus ends the 7th chapter of the 3rd book of Srimad Devi Bhagavatam, the Mahapurana, of 18,000 verses, on the creation and the tattvas and their presiding deities. Note, of these jivas, those who are the best qualified, the Uttamadhikaris, are known as the Brahmagnis, Janghanaturiyas, as denoted by Om Hrim. The middlings have their gross, subtle, and causal bodies and are called as Brahma, Vaisvanara, Sutra, Hiranyagarbhas. And the 3rd class is known as Visva, Taitsa, and Pragya, and forms the body, as it were, of the Brahma. There are others also, animals, etc., in the lowest class.